welcome to the deep dive. So you've given us a really formidable collection of sources today.
They are quite something.
All of them dedicated to mapping one of the most, complex theological concepts in Islam, the reality of Jahannam, or hell.
Right.
And our mission, it feels ambitious, is to navigate this, right, level by level. We're talking the gates, the scale, the specific, often horrifying punishments that are detailed in this material.
We're essentially charting the architecture of the afterlife based on these texts.
Exactly. But it's more than just a description, isn't it? We have to try and understand the intent behind it all.
Oh, absolutely. Before we sort of descend into the details, it's vital to get the fundamental purpose. Jahannam isn't presented as some kind of, arbitrary malice.
Right.
It's framed as a carefully calibrated realm of divine justice, a place created by Allah for retribution for evil deeds.
So the punishment fixed the crime, so to speak.
Precisely. The severity you'll see is directly tied to the weight of the sins committed. It actually mirrors the concept of the 7 levels of Jannah or paradise. It's a whole reciprocal system.
And the layout itself is key to that system. The sources say the 7 levels are vertical, right? Descending downwards.
Like a vast inverted mountain.
It's at the least painful level, the lowest heat at the very top, and then it just gets exponentially worse as you go deeper.
That verticality is crucial. It emphasizes that escalating consequence. And to get a sense of that fire, we really have to start with its origin. The sources detail this extraordinary 3 millennia preparation process.
3 millennia, just to create the fire.
Yes. So when Allah created Jahannam, he commanded the fire to burn for 1,000 years.
Okay.
During that time, the flames were fiery red. Then he kept it burning for another 1,000 years.
And it changed.
It turned bright white. And then finally a third 1,000 years, until the flames became completely, utterly pitch black.
Black fire. That alone tells you this isn't anything we can comprehend on Earth. It's not just intense, it's fundamentally different.
It is. That's why it's described as 70 times more harmful than any worldly fire. The color change itself, from red to white to just, the absence of light, it underscores that this fire it's a state of being.
And the sources have that one haunting quote, right?
Yeah.
Indeed, the hellfire is a dwelling place of them all. It has 7 gates.
7 gates, 7 distinct dwellings. And that duration of punishment is maybe the most powerful way they communicate the scale.
You mean how long people are there for?
Right. For non-believers and, interestingly, backbiters, it's endless. But for sinful Muslims, the duration, while still severe, is finite. It depends on their sins.
And to get that sheer physical size, we have that famous anecdote, the one about the rock.
Yes. If a rock is dropped into Jahannam, it will fall for 70 years before it even touches the bottom.
70 years. Is that, are we supposed to take that as literal Earth years, or is it a rhetorical tool to show an infinite depth?
I think it has to be the latter, a scale so vast that our imagination just can't grasp it. It's a domain outside of our physics.
It certainly underscores the inescapable nature of it all. So now that we have the scale, let's begin that descent. Let's map those 7 gates.
Okay, we begin at the top, level 1. It's named Jahannam.
And this one is for Muslims who sinned but still held their core beliefs. So it's, relatively less severe?
Relatively, yes.
Yeah.
Lower heat, less severe punishments. But the key concept here is continuous renewal.
Renewal.
The sinners' faces are scorched, the fire eats their flesh, but Allah continuously renews their flesh the moment it's consumed.
So they can taste the punishment, as the sources say. It's not about annihilation, it's about experiencing the full consequence.
Exactly, which brings us down to level 2, Lada.
And here it gets more severe immediately. This is for humans and jinn who flat out disbelieved, rejected the prophets.
And the fire's nature changes. Here it's described as being far more invasive. It consumes organs inside and out. It's a relentless devouring.
Until the body is just gone, annihilated.
Which is a stark contrast to the renewal in level 1. It suggests a total erasure for that rejection of faith.
Then we have level 3, Sakar, and this one has a very distinctive detail about what the fire doesn't do.
That's right. It will eat their flesh, but it will not consume their bones.
Which is so specific, and the reasons for being here are just as specific.
The sources are very clear. They list 4 precise failings. First, they didn't perform Salah, the daily prayer.
Okay, a spiritual duty.
Second, they did not offer food to the poor.
A social duty. That's fascinating, putting them on the same level.
It is. The third is that they used to talk vainly, follow falsehood. And the fourth, they refused to believe in the day of resurrection.
So it's this mix of private faith and public compassion. That lack of compassion for the poor seems to carry a really heavy theological weight.
It does. It suggests true faith has to manifest in how you treat others.
Okay, so as we keep going down, here's where it gets really interesting. We hit the mid-levels, where the sources start adding this layer of emotional torment on top of the physical. Level 4, al-hutama.
Al-Hutama, yes. It's often called the crushing fire.
Crushing.
The flame here consumes the body down to the bones, but its defining feature is that it targets the spiritual core. The sources call it the fire of Allah, which scorches the hearts.
So it's an attack on the soul's essence. And the emotional details they're just heartbreaking.
The despair is palpable. They say sinners cry until their tear glands run dry.
And then?
Then they cry blood. The description says the volume of tears and blood could fill a pool so vast a ship could sail on it.
A ship could. Wow. That's an image designed to communicate a grief that's just immeasurable.
It really is. Then we move to level 5, Jahim.
And the description of this one is just about sheer size. It's a colossal piece of coal, bigger than even the lowest level.
The size signifies this dense, relentless punishment. And the reasons for landing here, well, you'll see a theme.
Let's hear them.
Failure to maintain correct beliefs in Allah, refusing to acknowledge the rights of others, and, once again,
A lack of compassion for feeding the poor.
a lack of compassion for feeding the poor. It appears again.
So that's a major, major dividing line in this system of justice. It seems to be a non-negotiable part of faith.
It absolutely is. And now we enter the deepest terrors. Level 6, Sayere.
This one is defined by its almost bureaucratic structure of suffering. The numbers are just staggering.
This is where you have to think about what the sources are trying to communicate. Sire has 300 castles.
Okay.
Each castle has 300 huts. Each hut, 300 rooms. And each room has 300 different types of penalties.
That's, what, 8.1 billion permutations of torment?
Precisely. The numbers aren't meant to be literal math. They're meant to communicate a torment that is systematic. It's a machine of suffering built for infinite personalized variety.
And inside this machine.
Scorpions, snakes, chains, ropes, and something called the pit of agony. The sources say it's the single most painful punishment in all of Jahannam.
The worst of the worst inside this already complex level.
The absolute nadir of pain.
Which finally brings it to the bottom. Level 7, Hawiya. The last and worst. And the sources say no one who goes here is ever released.
Never. The sinners here are the backbiters and non-believers. Their fate is sealed. The environment is pitch blackness.
And they're crushed.
Crushed under mountains, lying on their faces. Their hands are bound to their necks to their legs to ensure they can't move.
And the executioners. The Zabania angels.
Angels of Jahannam. Their hands are described as being made of strong iron. They literally stand on the sinners and beat them with their bare hands.
And that quote about the fire, it's just so unsettling.
The fire will embrace the sinner as a mother embraces her son.
It's this perverse intimacy, a complete, inescapable embrace of torment.
The darkness, the crushing, it's the end of all hope.
So now that we sort of mapped the architecture of this descent, let's talk about the universal experience, the sensory reality. What sustains the damned?
Well, their sustenance is part of the punishment. They're given pus, blood, and boiling water to drink.
Not hydration, then, just more torment.
And for food, they eat from a tree called zakum. It has prickly, thorny branches. It's designed to lacerate you from the inside.
Good heavens! And the realm is populated.
Oh, yes. With venomous and hideous animals. Snakes, lizards, and specifically venomous donkeys.
Venomous donkeys.
And the detail is that their bite will not be soothed or healed for 40 years.
40 years, that time frame. It's meant to convey an agony that just lingers beyond any human pain we can imagine.
It is. And if you want a baseline for how intense all this is, the sources give us the detail about the least possible punishment.
Okay, what is the mildest version of hell?
The man receiving the least punishment will simply have shoes and laces made of fire.
Just his shoes.
Just his shoes. But that fire will make his head boil like a cauldron.
And the sources say he'll think he's receiving the worst punishment of all.
He will. And that single detail just perfectly encapsulates the baseline intensity of the entire realm. It brings us back to that core purpose.
Divine justice, retribution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The idea is that a law is absolutely just, so every individual is held accountable. It's a powerful deterrent.
So after all of this, this terrifying catalog of consequence, what does it all mean? It seems so physical, but there has to be a deeper philosophical point.
There is. While the descriptions are intensely physical, Jahannam is also presented as a spiritual state,
Meaning?
meaning it signifies the complete absence of divine grace, a total agonizing separation from Allah's mercy. It's the absolute antithesis of paradise. That separation is the true, deepest pain.
And that's critical to remember because the sources, as terrifying as they are, also strongly emphasize Allah's compassion, his willingness to forgive.
The doors of forgiveness are always open for those who genuinely regret their sins and seek redemption.
It's a crucial assurance of hope, isn't it? It balances the severity of what we've just mapped out. The warning is severe, but it's not necessarily a predetermined fate.
Not at all.
Absolutely. The sources describe Jahannam as a promised place that every human and jinn is warned about. Which brings me to a final thought, especially given those sins for level 3, Sukkar.
The prayer and feeding the poor.
Yes. That mix of private duty and public compassion, it just makes you wonder, and this is for you, the listener, to think about. How might modern, seemingly small acts of negligence, refusing to help the needy or just engaging in all the vain, deceitful talk online, how might those things intersect with the criteria for these terrible destinations? What small acts of consistent righteousness in your daily life, that moment of compassion or choosing to avoid that vain talk, might, according to these sources, be the critical difference in averting the fate of even the third gate? Something to think about.